Hello everyone, welcome to the Take Care Man channel. My name is Todd. In this video we're going to be doing a shave and review with Ginger Garden's Citrus Ice Argan Shave Cream and the Ginger Garden's Aftershave Splash in Citrus Ice. So Irina, who is the soap maker there at Ginger's Garden, reached out to me and said, hey, are you still doing videos about shaving products? And I said, gosh, I am. And she said, would you like to try one of my products? And I said, well, would you want me to pick one out? And she said, sure, you just pick up whichever one you want. And what I did is I actually decided, well, I'm going to ask her, like, what product is it of yours that it's kind of a shock to you that it doesn't sell more? Like, what is something that you have in your lineup of soaps and splashes that you just don't understand why people are not purchasing it more because you think it's a great product? And she mentioned the citrus ice. So the cream and the splash do not have menthol. What they do have is an artificial cooling agent. And in this case, it's specifically, I think, WS3, which is also known as Coolant, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's the right name. And when I was researching the synthetic cooling agents, I found out that WS and WS3 stands for Wilkinson Sword, believe it or not, because they did formulated something like 1,200 different artificial, or I guess synthetic cooling agents back in the day, I guess, for shaving products, but only actually brought 8 of those to market. I'll link the article below that I was looking at about that, but I thought that was interesting. And I've used a couple of products before with this type of synthetic cooling, the Orbit soap and splash from Noble Otter, and Terror from Barrister and Man. I don't own Terror, I own Orbit, so I do have some familiarity with what that's like, and I certainly love a lot of regular menthol products. So one of the reasons that Irina said she likes to use the synthetic menthol is because it doesn't overpower the scent like, say, menthol would. So menthol gives off sort of a peppermint, eucalyptus kind of vibe, and sometimes can be overpowering. When your scent, like the scent that you're trying to go for in your soap is a citrus scent, it'd be really easy for the menthol to sort of drown out the citrus scent. Although I will say that the glacial orange chill and the glacial lemon chill at Sterling do quite nice to me with the menthol in there and the citrus. And both of those, I believe, are scented with just essential oils. This says on the website, on the soap itself, scented with a mixture of citrus oils. And I actually reached out to Irene and asked her, are those all essential oils? She said, no, there's actually fragrance oil and essential oil, because with the citruses, there is an issue with photosensitivity. In other words, with exposure to UV light, just sunlight, being outside, having citrus oils on your skin makes you a little bit more sensitive to the UV light. And so you have to kind of be careful with that with citrus oils. And we talked about that when we looked at Lav Sublime, or actually I think it was Man from Mayfair, which had the bergamot in it, that it did not have the bergaptine, I think it was, had that removed, which made it less acceptable to UV light. I know we're getting off course here, but basically one of the reasons Irina said she didn't want to use all essential oils is to sort of protect the shaver's skin from that increased photosensitivity that you have with using citrus oils. So I'm going to go ahead and start putting this on the face. I've got it lathered here in the Pereira shaving bowl. There's the Pereira shaving bowl. If you've never seen it before, it has a nice rest. We're using the Peregrino brush from PAA, and I've got the soap whipped up here, or more specifically the cream whipped up here. So let's get in here and apply it to the face. What's going on? Really smooth. It's very, I would say, like a silky feeling, not oily, but like just, I don't know, it's just going on really softly. Some of that's the Peregrino brush being as amazing as it is. Let me just tell you, like, in terms of a synthetic brush with a great grip, stylish handle, connection to sort of history in the sense that it's inspired by past brushes, for the price, you cannot beat PAA's synthetic brushes, in my opinion. Now, I definitely am getting the cooling on the face. And as you know, I prefer to face lather, but Irina actually on the website suggests using this because it's more of a cream with a bowl. Now you can actually use creams and lather with just doing a face lather by sort of just putting in your brush, or even putting some on the face and then going from there. But I just did the lather in the Pereira shaving bowl, and we'll get in here and try this out. Now I'm getting citrus. I smell like a lemon note, an orange note, and I can't really go beyond that. Maybe a little bit of a grapefruit. It's just a nice citrus blend is the best way I know to describe it. And I'm getting the sensation of the cooling without that menthol scent. So I do see what Irina was saying there. And too, it's important to note, like in fragrances and men's fragrances, the freshies, like the ones that have citrus notes, those citrus notes, even the ones like bergamot that is pretty common in men's fragrances, they're definitely top notes, because citrus notes tend to go away pretty quickly. A lot of the citrus forward men's fragrances just don't have a lot of longevity. So I can see where she would be concerned about the menthol drowning it out here, and also how the fragrance oils are going to have a little more longevity than possibly the essential oils. But I'm not entirely sure that's true. That's just an assumption I'm making. We're going to go back in and try the Rex Envoy for a second time, and we'll try to be more mindful of how I'm using it this time. Last time, if you watched that video, I was concerned about it being too mild before I started using it, but then after I got into using it, I found it to be much more efficient than I anticipated that it would be. So I'm trying on this shave to use a very light touch. To experiment with the angle. I've been doing this long enough that I think I can sort of share some tips I've learned from shaving. This is more just, I don't think I heard anybody mention this before, not that I invented this, I'm just telling you my own experience. But when you're getting down to like the jawline here and you're going like on a down, like with the grain pass, try not to lock your wrist or lock the angle here, because as you know, like the angle of your face is going. So try to have a grip that's flexible enough that when it goes, it will adjust with what you're, like the contours of your face. Now, obviously, you're still kind of holding a general angle, but you want to be able to move. We give cart razors a hard time in the traditional shaving community, or as I like to call it sometimes, the legacy shaving community. But the addition of like the pivoting and rotating heads that articulate both horizontally and vertically on like some of those Gillette razors, work well for adjusting the contours of the face. I haven't used one in, I guess, probably 3 years. But certainly you can see what companies like Gillette, how they've definitely innovated and kept adding the number of blades to the cartridges. Now, in that last video, I had a lot of stinging at the end of the shave because I feel like I'd scraped a lot during the shave. But this is much more, having a much more smoother experience, and I think primarily it's because I'm focusing a bit more during the process. Now, the scent, even still off of the face, this is in 9 or 10 scent strength for me in terms of just the strength of the scent. This is a pleasant citrus scent. It gives me more of a natural citrus vibe than a synthetic. I was a little worried, with a citrus scent, sometimes you get like a lemon pledge or like some sort of artificial citrus scent. Know that there was a soap I used one time, I can't remember what it was, but I used to put together like model kits, like model cars, model airplanes. Not that much. I just dabbled with it as a teenager, and wasn't very good at like painting them or whatever. But that, I think it's Revel is the brand, and I think it's a lot of different, like maybe Test Store is a brand. But anyway, that the glue that you would use to put those models together had an orange scent, and you know, it was kind of a natural scent. Actually, I started to say it was more synthetic, but it was pretty close to being orange. So, you know, regardless of whether you find this to be more natural or synthetic in terms of the citrus scent, to me, for me, it smells natural. And again, I'm getting lemon predominantly, a touch of orange, or maybe like tangerine. You know, tangerine and has a little bit of a different scent to it. Possibly some grapefruit, and to me, just a lemon and orange would overpower like a bergamot, in my opinion. Possibly a little lime in there. I'm not for sure. I mean, I didn't ask Irina the specific oils or the specific fragrance oils that she was trying to use. She just had, she said citrus oils, and so I just wanted to clarify if that was essential or fragrance oils, and it's actually a mix of those two. So. And I would just prefer artisans put that, if they'd put essential oils and fragrance oils. And I think it actually says that at one place. I don't know if it's on the soap, and I've got my glasses off here, or on the website. Let's, before we get into the second pass here, let's talk about the ingredients. So besides the normal like vegan soap ingredients, we also have mango butter, castor oil, coconut oil, cocoa butter, argan oil, and avocado oil. And the container it comes in is kind of funky. It's kind of different. It's kind of unique. Let me just kind of put it together, and you'll see what I mean by put it together in a minute. It comes in one piece. I took it apart on purpose. But the lid on top of these actually, and let me adjust the exposure, otherwise we'll be blown out here. The lid on top actually opens up, and you can see there's a little bit of a lip around here. That's because this entire lid, and you're not going to be able to see it well because I took the whole thing apart, but the lid comes off like that. But this actually is in a little container like this, so it looks like a normal, like just soap container. But you can unscrew the whole top, or you can just do a flip top. And that flip top, when you put it down, is secure enough that if you traveled with this or anything, I wouldn't worry about that coming open. You have to put quite a bit of, you know, I mean, it's easy to open, but you just have to put enough pressure to open it. So I don't think it'd be a problem with traveling. As I was looking at the container it comes in, I don't know how well you're going to be able to see this, but there's it kind of goes down into like a, what's that called? Convex, concave, whatever. Like the bottom of a bowl down there, right? You see that? How it kind of goes in, and then there's like a little platform. So I started prying on it. Like one of the things drove my mom crazy when I was a kid. Suds are dissipating just a little bit. I have to reapply in just a second. I'd take stuff apart. So this is what it looks like when it's out of that container. And so it'll sit on a counter just like that with this little base that's there. You wouldn't necessarily need that. It just kind of makes it more uniform. But I got to thinking, like if you wanted a bowl, like in a pinch, you could actually take this bottom part off and use this as your lather bowl. Like if you didn't want to, you know, this is cream, so it's hard to lather off of a cream container. So if you did it, and if you wanted to use this as a travel bowl, this would kind of be your one-stop shop. Now, I don't think Irina means people to be taking these apart, but I did, because yeah, that's what I do. Let's ply back here a little bit. I stopped talking and allowed the lather to dissipate a little bit. Yeah, this is I'm gonna put a little bit closer to the eyes here for science, because some with like glacial level menthol will get your eyes watering, and I haven't at all experienced anything unpleasant. I actually don't mind. I'm a mint head, so I don't mind getting the extreme menthol, and I don't even mind having a little bit of eye burn, red eyes, watery eyes. But I'm not getting any of that from this. I'm just getting a crisp, like that coolness makes you think of like it being a real citrus, because it's like cooling. So I just love it. It's a great scent. Now I will say, I'm not huge on citrus scents, and the reason that is for me is not because I don't like them. It's just because I encounter them so much in everyday life and other ways and other products, whether it be dishwashing soap or air freshener or actual citrus. Like I love to eat oranges and tangerines and those little halo hybrid thingies, whatever they are. And so I smell citrus a lot. Now I do like something like margaritas in the Arctic from Sterling, because that's to me gives a little bit of a different than just straight citrus. So this is great. I can't see anybody not liking this unless they just don't like the cooling feeling on the face. But it wouldn't be one of my personal favorites, and that's on me because Irina gave me the opportunity to find a scent that sounded really good to me, and I told her, hey, you tell me which one you think, or you kind of puzzled that people don't flock to more. And so this is the one that she suggested, and I wanted to give her the opportunity to sort of put her best foot forward, if that makes sense. So I'll try another Ginger Gardens soap in the future. Irina, if you're willing, I'll select another there that you can send me. I'll try a scent that's sort of more in my wheelhouse, or I may purchase one myself in the future. Now I will note that this soap is basically $25, I think $24.95, and most of Irina's soaps there at Ginger's Garden are $19.95 if I'm not mistaken. I'll link the soap below as well as the full web page. Did I just do? I think I just did. This happens sometimes, guys, when I'm not paying attention. I think because I was talking, I think I did a with the grain pass again, like a second pass. Oh well, let's just go across grain here on the nose. Now I'm going to have to play around with this Envoy because so far I don't like it as well as the Rockwell 6S. I do like the wider head. I do love this grip. But as far as just the face feel so far, I would still be leaning towards the Rockwell 6S, but I'm still very new. This is only my second shave with this. I'm sorry I did that second pass in whatever direction I did there. I just wasn't paying attention. You probably don't care. Meaning you probably not keeping track of that. I do. I know when I watch people, I kind of just see, okay, which pass are they doing, particularly when I was learning. I want to mention somebody I don't mention on the channel very much because they're big and I assume everybody knows about them. But before I started making shaving videos, I watched a lot of Paul H's shaving videos, Paul H Films. I'll link his channel below in case you are not aware of it. I just find him extremely pleasant, entertaining, and I used to actually shave with his shave video going next to me, both to learn, but also just to, it was almost like having a shave with a friend. It was pretty cool. So yeah, that's how I used to watch him, was paying attention to what was going on. So let's go. I don't know if I even did against the grain at the bottom. So let's go across the grain this way. That's where I have a tendency. I can do a little scraping there, but I'm going to do a little stretch because that tends to help for me, particularly going across grain this way on the face, meaning, I'm sorry, not the face, obviously the face, but like on the jawline. Sorry, I'm shooting this late on a Saturday night and the English language is escaping me. Definitely a lot of blade feel on this Envoy. And I actually like blade feel. I think a lot of this is going to be pressure and angle, like isn't everything, right? Or at least go against the grain here on the chin to see. It's weird, where I feel the most aggression on this when I get around the mouth, like areas where it's a little, I guess, loose or Yeah, it helps to stretch there. I'm not going to do the full pass there. Let's see where we are on this. Okay, so I tell you what I want to do is I'm going to lather the neck here, as Paul often does, and he'll do like neck brace. Because that's usually where my pickups have to happen anyway. And I'll just do a pass against the grain. By the way, there's still plenty of stuff here in the Pereira shaving bowl. So let's just get this on the face here. Yeah, it's very pleasant. Like you would be hard pressed to find someone that wouldn't find this to be a strong scent and a pleasant scent. So, you know, it's not overpowering in any way. It's just you get the citrus. And this is one of those too that I think after you use the splash, you know, so much of it is we talk about post-shave, but for me, post-shave is not so much what's happening right afterwards, but after you put the post-shave product on, and then the experience you get, say 15 minutes, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, even an hour afterwards, not just scent, but just the face feel, the whole experience. And sometimes with the cooling, and I have to kind of watch and see how long the cooling lasts from the splash. But yeah, it feels great on the face. It's performing great, good slickness. Yeah, I can tell here that I must have on that second pass not gone against the grain at all. So my apologies. In fact, let's just carry this on up and you can hear the audible feedback there. You can see where I was talking about around the mouth, I got a couple of little nicks there. Definitely going to have to work a little more with the Envoy. I've been tagged by both the Shaving Disciple and Melly Mel to do IMCDB's Magnificent 11 challenge, the different categories for the DE razors. And I'm actually in the process of selling a bunch off, so I need to do that video before they all sell and get gone. But right now, the king of my den, well, I'd have to say they're tied. It's tied between the 43C, Mercur 43C, and the Rockwell 6S. And I still have the 6C, although I'm about to give it away, not on the channel, but to somebody that I'm close to, and I don't want to spoil who it is. But I think they're going to enjoy it. So those would be my favorite, Rockwell 6S and the Mercur 43C currently. But this Envoy is so well built, and I love the knurling on the grip, and I love the way the head looks, and it just screams quality. One of my favorite things about the Envoy here, real quickly, and we'll get into the post-shave, is, I don't know how well you're going to be able to see this, and I forgot to lock the exposure back in, so it's probably been jumping all over the place, but the bottom of the base plate, or the base plate there on the Rex, actually has an indentation for the handle, so it kind of goes into the bottom plate, like the base plate. If you can see that, there's like a little recess for it, which just gives it a whole lot more stability and snugness there. So it's really well made. Let's rinse off, and we'll come back and get into this post-shave product and see if it can help us stop some of these little nicks we have here. Okay guys, other than those nicks, let's see what they do. I could go with just water here, and because of the cooling agent in the soap, you're getting that same feel here just with rinsing with cold water. Feels great. I mean, I could go like this and be fine. I might want to put a balm on, but we're going to use Irina's Ginger Gardens Citrus Ice Splash. And it's called Artisan Aftershave. And so in it, there is aloe vera, witch hazel, alcohol, and then glycerin. And so since it's glycerin based, and you can buy vegetable glycerin, I've got some down here where I've made some of my own aftershave. She mentioned you can just use a couple of drops. Now, just like sort of the container was a bit funky. And let me change the exposure here so you can actually see this. Just like the container was a bit funky for the soap, this is a little different. It has a little flip top like that, right? It reminds me of like Hoppy's number 9 gun cleaner and like Remington Rim Oil, things like that. But it's got a little flip up. And so you can just sort of shake some out. And she just says, you know, just takes a couple of drops because the glycerin is kind of thicker. Yeah, it goes on pretty sticky, but I imagine that's going to dry down pretty quickly. It feels great. I'm going to do just a couple drops more because I feel like I couldn't cover all the real estate because it was grabbing so quickly. Okay, getting the same citrus notes. This one has a slight bitterness to it, and I don't mean that in a traditional bitter way. I mean like more like the orange zest than the orange juice. Yeah, I'm getting kind of that, you know, that kind of, what's that called? Is it called pithiness? What's the white stuff called between the skin and the, I have no idea. But it kind of gives that sort of vibe. I mean, you're getting the citrus, but you also have this little bit of a bitterness in there, which I actually like. It makes the fragrance more interesting to me. It's still like a freshie with great cooling on the face, not overwhelming cooling at all. You can see here why I adjust exposure. I don't know if you noticed that. This is why I have to have something to lock exposure, because when I get in here, I turn yellow. So let me lock it back. Sorry about that. This is shaves all over the place. Yes, I would recommend this soap and splash. Are they worth, both the splash and the soap are $25 each, so you're looking at $50 for the set. Is it worth that? I'd be a little more comfortable if it was more like $40 for the set as opposed to $50. And there may be a bundle deal that I didn't discover there on the site, but if you buy them separately, I know they're $50, so $25 for each. And to me, that's a little bit on the steep side for what you're getting. I mean, it was great performance, but to me, it was not a top tier performance. It was probably like tier 2, so very good, but you know, not up there for me with the Holy Cows and the Declaration Groomings of the world. And some people would put A&E in there as well. I just don't have as much experience with A&E, but it feels great. And that splash, while it wouldn't be my preference, that like how quick it grabbed, my face feels great and it's absorbed. And the scent is amazing. So I'm getting the end result. It was just kind of a different experience in putting it on. So it absorbs pretty quickly. And my face just feels really good. So I actually like this more than I expected I would. Not because it's from an artisan that I'm not as familiar with, but because I wasn't really sure about the citrus. Because like I said, citrus to me can be just a little boring sometimes because you smell it all the time. But this is really interesting. And the synthetic cooling is nice. I really like it. I really like it. I don't see anybody not enjoying this. But I just don't know if it would make like my top scent list. But it's certainly very enjoyable to use. So that said, for those of you that stuck around within this train wreck of a video, I'm not going to put this even in the title, I'm going to give this away, both the soap and the splash. What I'd like for you to do is, in order to enter, I'd like for you to use the hashtag GG, but also after putting hashtag GG, I'd like for you to go to Ginger Garden's website. I'm going to link it below, and I'll link specifically to the shaving soap, shaving cream page. And I want you to list, or right after hashtag GG, just name one of the scents there that would interest you the most from Ginger's Garden, because I'm just interested to see what you think about the other scents and which ones sound good, and also just to get you over there at the website and to check it out. So other than receiving this complimentary copy of the splash and the soap, I'm not being compensated in any way by Irina. She just sent this along for me to try out and do a video of. So I want to pass it on to some lucky viewer. So hashtag GG for Ginger's Garden, and then whatever scent you like from the site. So a couple of things I want to mention. I'm selling a lot of my soaps and some of my hardware as well over at the Murphy and McNeil marketplace. And so I have a shortcut to that my particular storefront on there. So I'll put it on the screen here. It's bit.ly, so bit.ly/TCM for Take Care Man Treasure. TCM Treasure. So bit.ly/TCM Treasure to go to my Murphy and McNeil storefront where I'm selling some of my soaps and gear. And then I've also created a question, suggestion, rant, comment box, anonymous. It can stay anonymous. You can not give your name, or you can give your name. It's up to you. You'll see all that at the actual link. But one of the reasons I'm putting it up here, and I'll probably do a separate video for this, but I'm putting it out there because it's Mental Health Month, and I would like people to have the opportunity to ask questions about anything, honestly, but particularly mental health. But you can ask me any question too, just about me or about mental health or about my shaving routine or products I like, whatever. Or you can also leave comments, and obviously I prefer you do that below, but sometimes people have comments or questions that they'd rather be anonymous for, and so that's why I'm providing this particular link to you. So to ask a anonymous comment, or ask an anonymous question, make a comment, rant, have a suggestion for how to improve things, then go to bit.ly, so bit.ly, same thing, and then /TCM box, so TCMBOX, so Take Care Man box, TCM box. So if you go there, you can leave a question about mental health, about me, about the channel, about products I use, suggestions, anything you want to. And you can choose to leave your name if you want to. That's an option there. And also, if you want me to mention you in the video, if I use your question or comment, you can also tell me that is there as well. There's a question for that. So I know this kind of went on a long time, but Ginger Garden, thanks Irina for letting me try this out. Feels great. Feels really, really good. And I'm going to have to go and look at some of the other scents. I may comment below which ones sound most interesting to me as well. So again, if you'd like to win this soap and aftershave set, comment below with #GG, and then give the name of at least one scent of a soap over at Ginger Garden's website, which I'll link below, which you would be interested in trying out. Doesn't mean I'm going to be able to get that for you. It means that I'm just interested to see what you think about the scents and send you over to her website. I think I've rambled on long enough. So thank you for watching, and as always, take care, man.